everybody. Hello. Hi guys, we are in selfie mode tonight. It is just me. Oh, I'm so glad to see y'all tonight. Hi, Miss Amber. Hello, Pharaoh Art Gallery. Thank you all for saying hello. Good to see all of you. Hello, hello, yay. Wonderful. Okay, so we are going to continue on. Hey, Dana. We're going to continue on with a project that we were working on last week. My goal tonight is to not go over 30 minutes. That is my goal. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Lori. So my name is Tracey. My business name is Tracey's Fancy. I would love for you guys to follow me as well. I'm coming to you live from my garage, which is actually my shop and has been for about 12 years. I work here right here in my garage attached to my house. So I'm here every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time in San Antonio, Texas. And we work on whatever it is that we, questions that have been asked of me during the week maybe, or if we've got a new product out or whatever I happen to be working on in my shop. We call it Whimsical Wednesday. Hi, Donna. We call it Whimsical Wednesday because my style of my brand is usually quite whimsical and bright colors. And tonight we are not doing that. We are completely not doing anything whimsical, and it's not even bright. So, but I love it. It's a natural stone look, and we achieve that using sea spray and several colors of paint and a lot of water. And last week I met with you guys here with this table behind me that I found at Goodwill. I picked this up at Goodwill. I don't even remember how much. I love thrift flips. I love them so much. This is not a custom order. This is just a table that I saw that I thought would be Donna's a Tracey's Fancy Cheerleader. Julie, hi sweetie, good to see you. Julie, your mirror is ready. The shipper didn't come today, so he should be here in the morning. Shipping off furniture to Julie that I painted with my Dixie Belle paint. I used silk paint on her project, and we'll be posting that on Tracey's Fancy really soon. And Dixie Belle, I'm sure we'll share that down the road as well. I'll send you a picture later today. I love seeing you on here. So anyway, we are working on this. So I've got this side almost complete. So this piece behind me, the top, I'm not going to show you guys yet. The top is different than the bottom. And then this piece right here, we're going to do some work on this. We're going to use the herringbone stencil tonight and some gold gilding wax. And then I'm going to move out of the way. And I don't know if you saw the photo that I posted, but here is this stone look. Isn't it amazing? I love it so much. It is a stone look that I got. We did it last week using sea spray, and this is Manatee Gray. Manatee Gray is one of the colors. I know, Sherry, I know, but you know what? Sometimes I like this earthy vibe. I do. But listen, when I stage it and photograph it, there's something whimsical gonna sit on it. In fact, it's so whimsical that my dog was out here barking at it today. Okay, so this right here was wood. Okay, this was a wooden brown, very, very rustic. I think it's a handmade table. Debbie, thank you for being over on Instagram. I think it's a handmade table, carved by hand. It is rustic. And so because it was pretty beat up, I decided to use sea spray, which you don't have to have sea spray on beat up things only. But sea spray is a paint additive. It's very kind of like talcumish, like a talcumy, like talc powder. This is it. It comes in the scoop right here. You can see this, look here, Instagram, you see that? And you add it to your paint and it starts to sort of thicken and harden up, and you can make it as thin as you want as a thickener, still thicker than a normal paint. It's gonna thicken your paint. Or you can make it super, super thick. And we actually smeared on the stuff on the bottom by hand. And listen, let me tell you something else. The thicker you put it on as it dries, the more cracks and crumbly stuff that you're gonna get from it, okay? So this is not, Cheryl, thank you, but it's actually not a blend, and we're gonna do it together tonight. I'm gonna move this just a little bit. It's not a blend. I just do it with water. It's just with water and two different colors of paint. Okay, so let me spin it and I'll show you what we're gonna do. I haven't done the other side. So let me spin it. And I'm not finished with this either. I've got some waxing that I'm gonna do, some black wax and white wax to it. But right now I'm gonna spin it. We're gonna do this to the other side, and then I'm gonna come back over here and we're gonna stencil on the sides. All right, so this is what it looked like before. Just very flat, all one color. See the difference? Big difference, right? No depth, no depth added to it at all. Just very flat. Still looks really cool. You can see all the cracks and stuff. It's kind of rough. We flattened it out. We used our little thingamajig tool and we flattened it out. I know, Dixie Belle, isn't it? It's kind of marbly stone, I guess, by adding the gold that I did in the little veins made it a little more marbly, but definitely has a stone look to it. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it together right now. So all you need is a spray bottle, which I need to make sure I've got the right, yeah, this spray bottle. So this is one of our Mr. bottles. A Mr. bottle will work. You can get these on the Dixie Belle site. You can use a regular, like a cleaning spray bottle if you want. I really like the Mr. though, because it delivers such a small amount in a even mist instead of a spray bottle just like hits it and runs it all down. All right, so I've got my Dixie Belle brushes here, all my Dixie Belle brushes, but sometimes when I do this look on furniture, I use a watercolor brush. Just watercolor brushes are meant to hold a lot of water, and so it really does make a difference. So when I do this look, I use a watercolor brush. Okay, so I am gonna bring over my two different colors. I'm gonna be using Drop Cloth and Caviar. So Caviar is my favorite black. Dixie Belle has two blacks. They've got Caviar and Midnight Sky, and Caviar is the blackest of black. It is the absolute true black. And then I'm also gonna be using a touch of Drop Cloth in there somewhere. You just kind of have to play with it and see what you get. This is something, guys, if you wanna do this, if you are super OCD, this is gonna be a struggle for you because you have to really just let go because you're working with water. And so you just kind of have to follow what the water is offering you, basically. That's what you kind of have to do. So we're just gonna start at the top and kind of work our way down. I am gonna use some paper towels instead of a heat gun. I'm gonna soak up excess water because I wanna try to I saved this whole side to do with you guys. We probably won't do up here, but we're gonna do these columns, okay? All right, so all you need is your two colors. Have your colors open and ready to go. You don't use hardly any paint to do this part at all. Just to remind you, what I've done so far on this table is I primed the whole thing in B.O.S. Gray to block any bleed through. And then I did 2 coats of B.O.S. Gray. And then I did Manatee Gray paint mixed with the sea spray and spread it on with pounced it on with the brush, spread it on with my hands. We even used a palette knife to do some of it. We flattened it out with the palette knife. We used the thingamajig tool to flatten it out. That was all last week, but here we are. So this is it drying, and this is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna start right up here at the top, right up here under this ridge. That's where I'm gonna start. So thank you, Dixie Belle, for sharing my affiliate. Could this technique be applied to a countertop? You need, if you're willing to pour a resin top over the top of it, it's very rough. It leaves a pretty rough feel. So like I didn't do this technique on the top. Actually, I did because I used a lot of water, but you don't get that runoff unless you can tilt your cabinet. You're not gonna get that runoff. So the top looks a little bit different. The top is a lot of water used, but it also doesn't have all these major cracks because I wanted it to be smooth. I didn't want the top to be, catch a lot of dust and stuff like that. Hi, Cecilia. So to me, this is more something that you would do that isn't going to be used a lot. Like no one's really going to be touching this or this part of it. Do you know what I mean? That's my thoughts on it. Hi, Miss Wendy Vaughn. Hi there, Brushed Again, fellow Texan. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start with the spray. I'm just going to wet my piece down pretty good. Just wet it down. Not a lot. I don't need it dripping. I don't have to have it dripping yet. But I am going to I'm just going to spray my brush. I usually have a little bowl that I dip my brush in, but I'm just going to spray my brush, get it nice and wet. There we go. All right, so I'm going to dip it into my Caviar. I've got Caviar right here on my lid. I'm just going to dip it into my Caviar. I don't need a lot. I'm going to spray it again. I really should use, I am going to use a bowl. I've got a little bowl here that I had out for my Gilding Wax, but I'll go get something in a minute. So I'm just gonna spray some of this water in here. Don't need a lot. Just got a little puddle. Just gonna dip my black in there. I wanna keep it nice and wet. Chalk paint dries really fast. The Dixie Belle paint's nice and thick. It has a full bodied paint. And I want this to be sort of like a watercolor. So the reason this is so much fun, y'all, is because it's not a flat surface. It looks flat, but I've created lots of valleys and creeks for it to follow and fall through. All right, so spray it again. I'm gonna start right up here at the top, and I'm just gonna introduce some paint up here, just like that. Now, if I press that, it lets some of that water down. Now, here we go. I'm just gonna spray it, and I'm gonna let some of that start running down. And I'm just gonna keep adding. It's just, you can direct this fallout with your bottle. You don't want to leave big clumps like that underneath there. And you also, I don't really want this runny look. That's not really what I'm after. So I'm just going to keep spraying that down, keep adding some paint up here to the top. This is very wet, so you want to have plenty beneath you to catch the runoff. And then see how these long lines are here? I want to spray those out. I don't want those long drippy lines. I want this to stay really nice and wet and get rid of some of those. There we go. So you really never know exactly what's gonna happen. Do you see what I'm saying about, like, you really can't predict, you just kind of have to see. It's sort of like nature, right? It's sort of like, I mean, is someone there really making every single salt, lime mark that's left on the cliffs on the river? And no, it's just sort of natural and what happens naturally. So now do you see how it's less streaky? The runoff is a lot less streaky. So I want to get a little bit more here. I'm going to start from like right here. I'm going to add some more on the side here. So I'm just going to kind of put my brush up here. See how it's just running? And the trick is, don't keep going back in it. You need to let it dry. And what's happening is it's running off down here on the bottom. It's running off and settling right down here on the bottom, and that's good. We want that. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry, and then we'll revisit it in just a minute. So while this is drying, we're gonna come back over here. So it's a layered effect. So I've revisited that other side like 3 times now. So you're not gonna get it all at once. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna wet this. And remember, after we add blacks and grays, we are gonna go back in and start adding some fluff as well, because the fluff will give you some added highlights and depths as well. So here we go. Now look, that was even more wet, and it's already running down. And do you see how it's hitting all of the little cracks? I don't know if you guys can tell that. It's not running just straight down. It's going in all. I want to bring y'all in. Can y'all see this side? Look at this. Can y'all see these cracks that became highlighted that you really couldn't see? See how it looks darker right there? It's not a patch. It actually got in all of those sea spray cracks. You see that? Very cool, right? I know, it is so cool. Do y'all remember a buffet that I did a long time ago? It was a zebra and leopard, hot pink and black buffet. I did this technique on that. So you can do this technique, guys. It doesn't have to be with stone colors. It can be with, I did it with peony and black, and it was gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, I'm just gonna add some more because I want more black here. And then I'm gonna do what I did before. I'm gonna kind of wet this side and take some over like this. And I don't like, see how this is real super streaky and this is not, because remember, we painted with the bottle. Okay, so now I'm gonna keep wetting this. I'm painting with my water bottle, literally painting. So this is almost like glazing almost, but you're doing it with water so that you don't, because the drippy look, I like the drippy look, but it's a little gothic-y to me or something. I want it to be more shadow and shaded naturally. So we're gonna actually I didn't get enough black up at the top of that one. So I'm gonna put some more black up here. I'm gonna hit this right up here. I want a little more black. I've got a little, and what's funny is if you get in front of it, you can make it come down even. If you get in front of that drip, that's what I kept telling myself. Oh, I need more water. I need more water so it's not so drippy. And see that watercolor brush? I'm putting pressure on it and it'll drop that water for me, just like that. Lots of water. Okay. So it's a lot of fun. Hi Shelby, it's a lot of fun. I'm gonna go ahead, and this is not something I would want you to do, but I'm gonna pick up some of this paint that's down, some of this water that's puddled down here at the bottom, because I do want to do the bottom with y'all. And I'm just gonna pick up some of this added paint that's down here so we can go ahead and start working on the bottom while we let these sort of sit. Okay, so for the bottom, I'm gonna spray this base just like this, and the legs and the feet. Yes, Jennifer. Oh, it's JPO. Hey, yes, it is. This is the exact same. So when I did that wall, I had already been doing it on furniture. And then I said, oh my gosh, I love the way. Okay, this will not work with acrylic paint, and it will not work with latex paint. I tried to do that wall look. Someone insisted on using latex paint on the wall. It does not work. It beads and separates. It doesn't run. So I did the same look on a water wash wall that I did. I've done maybe 4 of them now. And chalk mineral paint, you just put it on at the top of the wall. Like if this is the top of the wall, it's the same thing. And you just, with that, you need more than a mister bottle. On a wall, you need like a spray bottle, and you just let it start running. You just keep working your way across, coming down at different levels. It's really, really, really cool. And yes, Lisa, doing it with color, it's gorgeous. I don't know if Debbie, if you can find that buffet link, but that one was really, really pretty. Okay, so the base, I'm just wetting my legs. JPO, that's so funny that you remember that. Thank you for bringing that up, because it is exactly that. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my watercolor brush here, and I'm just gonna feed it in right here. And actually I took those puddles away, and I shouldn't have, because I'm gonna tilt this table. I'm gonna tilt it and see if we can get some runoff here. I'm just kind of putting black everywhere and spraying it. And then we're gonna tilt it together and hope that I don't dump it over on my head. I think my stencil's up here. Nope, okay. Here we go. I'm gonna tilt my table, and I'm gonna let this run off. Woo. Okay, I need my sprayer. Yep, you see that? Spraying my shoe, the things we do. When you get a big clump of paint, you don't really want it to stay there. Just take your brush and go in there and kind of break it up. Just go in and break up your clump, and then go back and spray. You don't want to have like a big clump of paint. You don't want anyone to really be able to see where you delivered your paint with your brush, because that wouldn't look very organic, right? All right, I'm gonna do it right over this edge here. You see it falling over the edge? Just like that. I hope y'all can see that. Can y'all see that? Oh! I don't really know. I don't really wanna call it marble. Who's asking me, Maria? I don't know, it's just painting with water. It's just painting with water. I think it looks like stone, in my opinion. I'm gonna turn this and let y'all see. Yes, like stone. Okay, see this leg? This is the leg we're working on, right there. Instagram's got a good view of that. There we go. All right, so here we go. See how there's no black on that at all. That's not natural. I want there to be some paint delivered over that edge. Just kind of run see that? It's just falling over the edge like that, but I don't want it to look super drippy, so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna spray it again, help spread that out. And you just gotta leave it alone. You gotta let it just sit and do its thing. Ooh, that was cool. Oh wow, I just dropped black paint, just dropped it in there. That's kind of what I did on the surface, and I'll be taking pictures of that, obviously staging it, and y'all be able to see the top surface, but that's kind of what I did on the top surface. Y'all see how I'm doing this? Just letting it all run. It's like watercolor. It's like watercolor on furniture. You just have to be willing to, you know, let go of all your rules and everything that you're used to. And then come back to it. Just kind of put that on there. It just runs through it. I do this on fabric too. I wet my fabric a lot and just let that paint work its way down through, follow those rivers basically. That still didn't, still wanted to be super runny, super drippy. Here we go. That looks good. Okay, let's get up underneath here. So that means I'm gonna have to kind of get up underneath here. So I want it all covered. There we go. I'm gonna leave that and then let's do this leg over here.
I'm turbulent and you are cool.
Does anyone on here do that? The alcohol inks? I think that's so cool. It always looks really cool. I have a piece in my bathroom that is that someone had done with the alcohol inks. It's very cool. So again, just keep spraying it so you don't have too much of that drippy look. Unless you like it. I mean, unless you like that drippy look. I mean, you got to have some of it. But I just don't like it to be super. Sometimes I feel like too much drippy looks kind of like a murder scene. See how it's just carrying that over that? Isn't that cool? So, you know, it kind of gives you the same effect as, like I said, glazing and waxing, but without all the arm work. And it's not, I mean, it's not as pretty if you're looking for like a super finished, pretty look. You know, this is definitely more of a natural look. Okay, so I'm gonna pull it back around and we're gonna add a little bit of drop cloth. But wow, what a difference already, right? Do you wanna do some, should we do some up here? Let's do some up here. We didn't do that. The other side isn't finished, but let's at least get some going. So, but this is really cool for you to see the difference between the top and the bottom. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing up here. I'm gonna drag my brush right across here and just start letting it drip. Just to get some added color along that side. Just wanting to get in all those little cracks, all of that sea spray texture that we made, that we created. I want to get it in there. See how I'm kind of spraying my brush as I go? So contrasting colors would look really, really good. But think about if you did black underneath like Caviar and then you did a whitewash on top of it, that would look super cool, don't you think? All right, so I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna run this across the bottom. All right, that at least gets us some color going there. So now, I'm just gonna take my watercolor brush and get rid of this black that's in it. Okay, so let's do, I've got my drop cloth in my lid. I'm wiping out, I'm just putting my napkin, my paper towel in my bowl so we can start from scratch here. I'm gonna spray some more water in my bowl. And I'm just using that when I dip my brush in my drop cloth, just like this. I'm just using this bowl to really wet this brush. The white, I only want it in small doses. I want very, very little, a very little bit of white. So, and it's not even white, it's drop cloth. So I've got it on my brush here and I kind of just pick a spot, like Up here, I think, see how it's real dark over here and it's lighter gray? I think we're just gonna add some kind of up in here, and I just hit it with a little bit, spray a little bit, and just hit it with a little, just a little, like that. You see that? And just kind of see what happens. Oh, this is when it really starts looking cool. And you can hit it and make it go off to the side, and then it's just gonna kind of mix in. Let's go ahead and we'll hit some over here, just like this. And it just lightens it up. You don't want to have like a big, you don't want to have like a white polka dot, you know? And sometimes I just kind of run my brush. Like if I want it to go across, like wherever I see like a natural separation, I'll just kind of run it across like that. And it's sitting in a lot of water. And then I'll just hit it. You see that? So now I'll just go back and hit that with a little bit of water. It just kind of helps it move a little bit. And I actually think I want to put some up on this side as well. So I'm putting in a lot of water, and we'll get up here and we'll just kind of touch it up in here. Yep. Just touch it and see what happens. It's just going to work its way down. So let's do the same thing over here. And then I went back, y'all saw on the other side, I just went back in with a little bit of gold and kind of highlighted some areas. Now, I love when the white settles down in the cracks down here, because to me, that really looks like limestone runoff. I really like that. And you can do that with the paint, or you can add that with maybe some white wax afterwards, but I really like that settling in there. So let's go ahead and put some across the bottom as well. I'm gonna tilt this a little bit, guys. Let's tilt it again. And watch that running off. Watch, here it comes, running right off of the bottom. See that? And I know it looks real, you know, streaky right now, but as I stand it back up, it'll level itself back out. And you know, Dixie Belle's self-leveling anyway, and then we've got all that paint, all that water, it just starts to, it'll just settle. It'll just settle. And you can go back in and add paint anywhere that you want. I'm just kind of dumping some in here. We'll see what happens. Now look what I did though. See what I did when I tilted it? I got rid of too much black here. So we need to go back. I've got too much gray, just plain. I've got Manatee Gray showing. We don't have any depth over here at all. So we got to kind of go back. And that's why right now I'm being kind of forcing it, because we're online together. And so I'm trying to force the colors. But normally I would do one layer and let it all dry, and then come back and do the drop cloth and walk away and let it all dry, and then come back again. And you just keep adding after you've let it dry, because you kind of need to let it work its magic. If you keep mixing it while you're right here, if you keep mixing it, you'll end up with just muddy colors, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to have that happen. Okay, so let's spin it around. We won't add any white to the top, because I think y'all got the general idea. So did y'all like that? Did y'all like that? Y'all want to do some stencil? Let's add some gold. We've got, oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, so I said we were only going to do 30 minutes, and we're so far past that. But I do want to, see here, see this side, guys? Look at that. See that whitewash? Look at that. That's a big chunk of whitewash that washed down. This is a dry spot. Isn't that so cool? So that is why I love chalk mineral paint, because it works so beautifully with water. It just does. Okay, so now I'm gonna get my stencil, which is right here, and I'm gonna use the herringbone. Now listen, guys, the stencils come with an edge around them like this, and I cannot get up. If I wanna do it up under the drawer, I could take out. But if I'm gonna do this, I can't get it up far enough there. So I'm gonna cut my edge. So when you cut your edge, don't cut the whole thing off, because then you're gonna lose pieces. So you wanna just cut right next to it, so it's still, your pattern stays intact. Try to cut it as straight as you can. You know, you don't have to measure or, you know, use a ruler and mark it, but you see what I'm doing? That's gonna allow me to get right up to the top of that table, just like that. And I'm just gonna hold it in place, and we are gonna use the Greek key stencil. And I'm gonna use a gold gilding wax. Let me pop this out. I'm gonna spoon some out here. This is what the gold gilding wax looks like. It is gorgeous. So I'm just gonna put this gilding wax in here, just like that, down in the bottom of that bowl. And then I think I'm gonna use, I think I'll just use this oval brush. All right, so I'm gonna use this. My wax is in my bowl. I'm gonna use my round brush, and I'm gonna put it down in here just like this. And see, I'm just blotting it out, just like that. And it's getting on my brush, just like this. Okay, so let's just add some of this. And I do not need it perfect. This is a super textured piece that I'm going on top of, so the stencil is not gonna lay on there perfectly. I just kind of want a hint of it. Oh, can't reach my wax. I just want like a hint of it. And if it's imperfect, I'm completely okay with that. Because clearly this table does not have straight lines and, you know. Look! Ah! I love it so much. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. It's perfect. All right, let's do the other side.
I'm turbulent and you are cool. You watch me smile and dance like a fool. But I don't care if you do like me.
Of color, we don't want it perfect, right? We want it to have more of an aged look. Just sort of a ghost or a suggestion of it. Isn't that pretty? And then I already have gold all around the edges up here as well. You like it, Miss Queenie? Thank you. Thank you. I love it too. Let me move y'all up a little bit. Am I sealing this piece? I will seal this piece, but I'm gonna seal it in, I'll probably will use flat. You could use a wax. You could use the clear, any of the clear waxes. You could use Easy Peasy Spray Wax, or you could use flat top coat. And I am probably gonna use flat top coat. Hey, Miss Brandy, good to see your name fly across there, honey. Black wax as well, I sure will. Someone just asked. So I'm not done with it. I'm nowhere near done with it. You know that I'm gonna add black wax up here. So I'm gonna use black wax, guys, but I won't do the whole piece. You know how normally I'll put it all over and then wipe it back. So I'll probably add black wax with a small brush like this, just up in the cracks up in here. Do I have some? Here, I have some. Hold on. Normally I use satin top coat first before I use the black wax. Oh my goodness, can't get this open. And but I don't have a top coat on here, so it's gonna be super, super grabby, but let's just do it anyway. So I just take a small brush like this, put my black wax on here, and I know my gold wax is still wet, hasn't dried. I would normally let that dry. And then I would follow up with, well, normally I would use the La Petite brush or my French tip, but I don't have one up here. So I'm gonna use one of my premium chip brushes, and we're just gonna kind of do like this. Oh, it's not even as near as grabby as I thought it was gonna be. And that didn't make as big of an impact as I wanted to make, so. We would do like that. But yeah, I'll be adding all sorts of highlights and shadowing and all that kind of stuff. That really accents that really brings out the gold, doesn't it? Oh my goodness, and it brings that sea spray out, that texture out, the little bit of the gold. So see that compared to that is a big difference. I know. So I'll be adding some white wax as well, but I need to let, my paint settle on the other side, and I'll go back in and add my more drop cloth to the other side, and then I'll follow up with some black wax and some white wax and seal the piece. And then I'll finish doing this all the way around. So that's it. Yay. It's so much fun, y'all. 2 colors of paint, a texturizing product, a spray bottle. I challenge you. I challenge you to try it. I challenge you to give it a try. Lots and lots of water. Be in a space that you can let it run off. If you like the drips, go for it. If not, keep spraying. They'll wash out and it'll just give a really good wash. And it's even more fun if you use sea spray. So add sea spray. Get yourself some sea spray. Order it online. Find a retailer. Add it to your paint. Do contrasting colors. I love the idea of doing it with like Midnight Sky and Cobalt Blue and Mermaid Tail. I love the thought of doing it like that, like a super deep, rich peacock, especially with the fall coming. I think that would be beautiful, right? I love that. So that's what's fun about Dixie Belle, because we have like all the things we need in one place. Can you use silk screen stencils and gilding wax or regular stencils only? I have not had as much success with the silk screen stencils and gilding wax. It's a little thick to go through there. If you don't mind that they're a little imperfect, I think it's okay. But if you're looking for that super, super perfect gold to go through there, personally, I still use the mousse mixed with gloss top coat, and then I use that to spread across the silk screens. And I've done that on a ton of projects. You'll see the gold that was used, and that was the mousse with the gloss top coat. Yeah, find something to do it on. Start with like something you don't care about, so that you can just give it a try, because it's definitely a different way to paint, for sure. Yes, you can use the silk screen stencils as well. So you can, but I think I think what happens is, because it's thicker, as you use like the brush or the thingamajig, when you go to push it, some people I think overwork it. So be careful not to overwork the wax too hard, trying to get it through that silk screen, because then when you raise your silk screen, you've smashed it out and underneath there a little too much. So it's definitely you need to practice it. I feel like to me the mousse is a lot easier to use with the silk screen stencils, and the paint's the easiest. I have a project posting on Sunday that I used the silk screen stencils with Caviar and with gold, and they're coming out this Sunday. It's coming out this Sunday. Okay, guys, yes, practice, 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 and enjoy and have fun. And I hope you guys like this project. Dixie Belle, thank you for letting me be here. And I love my table. I love it so far. So we'll see y'all next Wednesday, okay? And for those of you that want to hear about living your best life, I will be live on my page as soon as I leave here, okay? So we'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks, y'all. Bye.
But I don't care, 'cause you do.